I woke up abruptly. My eyes were stuck with dried tears, vomit, and fecal matter. The room smelled like death. There was a cold breeze that loomed all around me. I looked around to see if I could spot Alexander, but he was gone. I then turned my attention to Nathan, and that's when I knew the worst had come. Lying on the floor just a few feet from me was a lifeless, cold Nathan. His eyes were open and his skin was blue. I quickly jumped to rush to his side. His skin was ice cold, his face swollen. I checked his pulse, but got nothing from him already hardening skin. I sat next to him and held his hand while in total state of shock and sorrow. He was gone. I failed to protect him and keep him safe. How could I? We were lying to ourselves the whole time because there was nothing we could do to effectively keep each other safe. No matter what we did or said, we were always helpless. That much was just as real as his dead little body. His life was cut short by a heartless woman who played on his fears to win his trust. In that bright lit place of freedom and peace for the perished children of the world, Nathan was happy. His smile burned inside of my mind forever. The remains he left behind told a different story. It was one of heartbreak and extreme trauma. I started to cry just as I did many times before. I looked around the room to find something I could use to end my life. For me, suicide was a welcoming solution. It was an outcome I sought to pursue because if he was gone, I needed to be gone too. I didn't think I could live with myself knowing that I let him go. I moved closer to the pole that linked to the chain around my ankle. I took the chain and wrapped it around my neck and leaned forward until the airflow was cut from my windpipe. It was easier said than done. I couldn't do it. Maybe I was a coward for trying. Instead, I banged my head on the pole until my vision had started to blur. It was a mix of blunt force to the head and tears that distorted my vision. It was at that moment I thought I saw Nathan move. Nathan, I called out. Hey, you okay? There was no response. Come on, wake up, wake up. No response. He was gone. I pushed on his chest and rocked him back and forth. What did I think would happen? Did I think he was going to miraculously wake up? I still had hope. I saw him move. I had to call out for help, knowing I would probably summon Alexander back into the room. Maybe he didn't know how bad off Nathan was. Maybe he was high on crank that he left before Nathan went unconscious. I knew I had to try. Without further hesitation, I started to call out for help. See the confusion? The confusion that I was going through, not knowing if he was alive or dead. And to this very day, a lot of that PTSD still resonates inside of me, still wondering if maybe he did make it out. Maybe they had turned him into a monster just like the rest of them, and he's out there doing the same thing. Or maybe he got away somehow, or maybe they just left him somewhere on the side of the road and he made it. A lot of these questions have been going through my mind my entire life. Like I said, checking his pulse, I didn't know what I was doing. Wasn't a doctor. Didn't have an EKG machine, didn't put a mirror up to his nose to check to see if he was breathing or anything like that. But the moment that somebody had actually said he was dead was when Phil had come into the room. So when Phil was trying to grab him, I stood there in total disarray. What could I say or do to help? Nothing. Phil grabbed Nathan by the leg and started to drag him toward the door. Careful, I urged. Please don't hurt him. Phil stopped and snapped his head around fast. This kid is dead, you dumbass. My heart sunk into my chest. So it was true. He was gone. I couldn't live in denial anymore. I was overpowered by the reality of Nathan's fate. Without saying another word, Phil commenced to drag Nathan's body out of the room. Even still, I was still in denial. So here's what happened when I was running down the street. Some people may have misconstrued some things to believe that I was running down the street in my underwear. But here's what it says in the book. No, I wouldn't go to them. I was home. I was going home. It was a long way from there and I had no shoes. My feet were sore as fuck. How much further could I go? I started to walk past the hungry tummy. Just seeing the place where I was picked up brought back a whole new level of terror. I picked up speed again and jogged to the back of the Save-Ons where I jumped the wall. I knew where I could go. I would go back to that guy Donald's house. It was my only choice. I thought about the shape I was in, the fact I was running around smelling like vomit and urine and feces along with having no underwear. I was literally holding up my sweatpants since Alexander stretched them out from what he tried to do to me. There was no other choice. I walked up to the front door and knocked. I waited for several seconds until the door opened up. Lo and behold, it was Donald. He looked happy to see me and a little nervous at the same time. "Hey, gangsta dog," he cheerfully called out. "What you been doing? Running and gunning, obviously." I said, "Running for sure, but gunning not even close. I just need to use your phone," I said. "Gonna call Ramo again?" Donald asked with sarcasm. "Well, he's in jail, so the only way you can talk to him is if he calls collect." Donald then laughed at his witticism. It's all right here. It's pretty self-explanatory, everything that was going on. And I really would like for all of you to get out there and grab you a copy of this right here. The Laughing Boy, available on Amazon. It's a huge eye-opener into just how dangerous and how corrupt a lot of these people in the world are. Just how dangerous and corrupt they could possibly affect one of your children if they're snatched off the streets. This right here will give you an inside peek into how these people operate, into what they do, what they say, how they lure kids in, all that. Go pick you up a copy of The Laughing Boy, available at Amazon.com. The link will be left in the comment section. And I'm out.